You were not born to be polite. You were born to be powerful. Before the world told you to smile. Before they trained you to shrink, apologize, and obey, you were something raw, unfiltered, alive. There was fire in your eyes, a hunger in your soul, a will to dominate, not to please. But then came the conditioning. Be nice. Don't be aggressive. Fit in. Lower your voice. Stop asking questions. And slowly, part by part, your edge was filed down. Not for your benefit, but for theirs. Because a dangerous man is hard to control. A nice man? Easily managed. Easily ignored. Nietzsche didn't glorify violence. He glorified will. The power to shape yourself, speak with force, and become unapologetically real. In his eyes, danger was not a flaw. It was potential. They told you to be nice, so you'd never be powerful. So you'd obey, perform, scroll, submit. But niceness is not virtue. It's often fear in disguise. The fear of being rejected, judged, cast out. You are not born to be agreeable. You were born to be dangerous. But dangerous in the way a sharpened blade is dangerous. Clean, clear, precise. Capable of cutting. Through lies. It's time to remember what they made you forget. You were not born tame. You were born wild. And you were born for war. Look around. Strength is mocked. Clarity is suspicious. Power is labeled toxic. We've created a world where men are rewarded for being harmless, but punished for being strong. They say, be sensitive. Be soft. Don't offend. But behind the veil of kindness, there's an agenda. To neuter your fire, dull your edge, tame your soul. Nietzsche warned us. Society fears the man who thinks for himself, who speaks from the gut, who acts without permission. That man cannot be herded. He cannot be sold to. He cannot be used. So what do they do instead? They teach obedience disguised as virtue. They turn you into a people pleaser. A smile without teeth. A voice without thunder. And you think it's your personality, when in truth, it's your prison. You weren't meant to tiptoe through life. You were meant to carve a path with your bare will. To confront, to challenge, to say no, with strength, not guilt. But the nice man never says no. He nods. He conforms. He dies quietly. This isn't a call for brutality. It's a call for backbone, for presence, for the kind of inner weight that makes people feel your truth before you even speak. Nice is a costume. But underneath, there's a warrior who's been starving. Stop starving him. Niceness is not morality. It's not integrity. It's not depth. Most of the time, it's just self-protection, painted with a smile. You say yes when you mean no. You laugh at what you hate. You agree to what drains you. And you call it kindness. But Nietzsche would call it cowardice. Because deep down, niceness is how you avoid confrontation. How you hide your anger, your power, your clarity. Because you're afraid of what it might cost to express it. But that cost is the price of real life, real presence, real transformation. The nice guy is not nice. He's dishonest. Not with others, with himself. He represses his truth for approval. He betrays his instincts for acceptance. And in the end, he doesn't become respected. He becomes invisible. Being good is not about being agreeable. It's about being real. About living in truth, even when it's sharp, uncomfortable, or offensive. Nietzsche wrote that we must learn to become who we are, not who we're told to be. And who you are is not some bland, neutral, inoffensive shadow. You are opinionated, wild, dangerous, capable of confrontation, capable of command. Don't call your fear kindness. Don't call your silence virtue. Stop being nice. Start being honest. The world doesn't need another polite shell. It needs you unfiltered. They told you to be safe. to never be a threat, to never make waves. But let's be clear, the safest man is also the most forgettable. Why? Because power makes people uncomfortable. It confronts them. It challenges the game. So society teaches you to hide it, to disown your strength and wear passivity like armor. But Nietzsche knew, a man without danger is a man without depth. What they call safety is sterilization, the removal of edge, of opinion, of raw will. A man who never speaks up, never says no, never stands his ground, is not good. He is dead inside. They don't actually want you to be safe. They want you to be harmless. And there's a difference. A safe man has no fire. A dangerous man has it, but controls it. That's the point. Control does not mean denial. It means mastery. The lion does not need to roar all the time, but everyone knows it can. That's what commands respect. If you're always agreeable, always soft, always pleasing, you're not safe. You're erased. A shell, a ghost. You don't need to be safe. You need to be strong. And strength includes shadow. It includes the capacity for destruction, held in discipline. That's real masculinity. Be dangerous. Be controlled. Be undeniable. Inside you, there is a beast, not a monster, a force, a raw primal power that was never meant to be deleted, only directed. But modern life told you to cage it, to suppress it, to act as if the fire didn't exist. You were trained to be civilized, which too often means domesticated, tame, predictable, powerless. Nietzsche would say, that beast is not your enemy. It's your fuel. You don't need to destroy it. You need to train it, harness it, make it your weapon, your aggression, your ambition, your hunger to break limits. These are not flaws. They are your tools. The world has tried to shame that part of you. It told you to calm down, to tone it down, to be less intense. But look around. The calm are dying inside. The quiet are crumbling in silence. The nice are invisible. The beast is what gives you presence, purpose, conviction. When you suppress it, you lose the fire to act, to protect, to lead, to create. You become safe but empty. This isn't about rage. It's about range. The man who has no beast is weak. The man whose beast controls him is reckless. But the man who can summon it at will and hold it with discipline, that man is unstoppable. So stop apologizing for your fire. Reclaim it, refine it, aim it, because the world doesn't need a nicer version of you. It needs a sharper one. Masculinity has been redefined, not by strength, but by suppression, not by responsibility, but by compliance. You were taught that to be good, you must be passive, silent, soft. But Nietzsche would laugh at this illusion. He understood. Real virtue is not obedience. It's power, directed with purpose. Modern culture fears the masculine spirit, not because it's evil, but because it's independent. And independence cannot be managed. It cannot be sold a fake identity. It cannot be distracted into silence. So the world tries to redefine manhood as emotional fragility, as hypersensitivity, as avoidance of all conflict. But the masculine soul was never meant to be safe. It was meant to stand, to take hits, to protect, to build, to lead. What do you think happens when you strip a man of his purpose? When you bury his instincts beneath layers of guilt and shame? He doesn't become kind. He becomes hollow, bitter, numb. You were not built for numbness. You were built to feel fully, to face pain without flinching, to walk into the unknown and carve meaning from it. The death of masculine virtue isn't just about men. It's about the collapse of courage, of strength, of direction. This is a call to remember. Your power is not a threat. Your clarity is. not aggression. Your decisiveness is not toxicity. Masculinity is not a problem to fix. It is a force to channel. We've confused strength with dominance, with noise, with control over others. But Nietzsche knew true strength has nothing to prove. Not it doesn't scream. It doesn't posture. It doesn't demand attention. Real strength is quiet, grounded, centered. It's the man who knows what he believes and lives it, no matter who's watching. It's the refusal to bend to trends, lies, or weakness in disguise. The world wants you reactive, loud, shallow, because a man who reacts can be manipulated. But a man who chooses, that man is dangerous. You think strength is how much you can lift? Try holding your boundaries in a room full of people who want you to fold. Try walking away from comfort, from validation, from cheap approval. Try facing yourself in silence and not running. That's strength. And you won't find it in social media quotes or curated identities. You find it in solitude, in pain, in doing the hard thing when no one applauds. The modern world gives you the illusion of choice, but pressures you to conform. Nietzsche called this the herd, and the herd always hates the one who walks away. So walk anyway. Strength is not about overpowering others. It's about overcoming yourself, your laziness, your fear, your need to be liked. Be the man who doesn't just look strong, but is strong from the inside out. Not for them. For you. There's a reason most men stay nice. It's easy. It's rewarded. No one attacks a man who hides. No one challenges a man who pleases. But the moment you stop conforming, the world will react. People will say you've changed. That you're arrogant, intense, difficult. They'll try to guilt you back into the box they feel safe around, because your power reminds them of their weakness. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your discipline threatens their comfort. Nietzsche said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. This is the cost of becoming who you truly are, and you must be willing to pay it. You will lose fake friends. You will outgrow small minds. You will offend those who live to avoid offense. But what you gain is priceless. You gain the fire in your eyes again, the weight in your voice, the storm in your soul. You gain the ability to walk into any room and not shrink, to speak and not shake, to act, not wait for permission. The price of power is solitude, rejection, misunderstanding. But the reward is presence, truth, freedom. You were not born to be liked. You were born to be real. And realness always costs more than approval. So, pay the price and rise. You want to grow? Be prepared to be rejected by friends, by family, by society. Because the moment you stop playing the nice guy, the mask falls off, and many won't like what they see. Not because you're wrong, but because you're real. Nietzsche didn't seek approval. He sought truth. And truth often sounds like arrogance to those addicted to lies. When you reclaim your voice, when you speak your mind, hold your frame, say no without guilt, the people who benefited from your silence will resist. They'll test you. They'll try to pull you back. Good. Let them. Because rejection is the sign you're shedding your skin, leaving the old self behind, evolving into the version of you that doesn't ask to exist. He simply does. The man who fears rejection becomes a slave to the crowd, but the man who embraces it, he becomes free. Rejection isn't the enemy. It's initiation. It's the universe asking, are you serious about becoming who you are meant to be? So stop chasing approval. Stop softening your truth. Let people misunderstand you. Let them talk. If they can't handle your presence, they were never meant to be in it. This is not your downfall. It's your rise. From the moment you were a child, you were taught to ask Ask to speak, ask to act, ask to be. But Nietzsche would say, the man who must ask for permission is already owned. You don't need permission to think deeply, to act boldly, to speak the truth, to be powerful. You've just been conditioned to believe you do. And that's how control works, not by force, but by internalizing obedience. So deeply that you censor yourself before anyone else can. You pause before expressing yourself. You wait for signs that it's safe. You wonder if they'll approve. And in that pause, your power dies, not stop asking. The moment you stop waiting for green lights from others, the road opens. The world may resist, but reality itself begins to move around you. Because people don't follow those who ask. They follow those who decide. You are not a child anymore. You are not a servant. You are a sovereign being. Or at least you. Could be, if you stop looking outside for validation. Do you want to reclaim your power? Then earn the script. Speak first. Move first. Stand first. Let them adjust to you for once. You don't need to be loud, but you do need to be clear. World doesn't give power. It yields to those who take it, calmly, completely, and without apology. The passive man waits. He waits for certainty, for signs, for motivation, for the right time. But Nietzsche would say, while you wait, the world moves. And it doesn't wait for you. Passivity is the slow death of potential. Every time you hesitate, you teach your mind that comfort matters more than power. That delay is safer than risk. That it's better to float than to climb. But the man who becomes dangerous, the man who becomes, is ruthless. Not with others, with himself. He kills distraction. He cuts excuses. He silences the voice that says later. He moves when it's hard. He speaks when it's risky. He acts when it's terrifying. Ruthlessness is not cruelty. It's clarity. It's knowing who you are, what you value, and what must be done, and doing it, no matter how you feel, because feelings change. But the cost of inaction never does. Every man has two voices, the passive voice that seeks comfort, and the ruthless one that seeks truth. One leads to a quiet, anxious death. The other, to a life that echoes. You are not made to be passive. You are made to be sharp, deliberate, and disciplined. So let the old habits die. Let the weak voice fade. And rise, ruthless, clear, and ready. Most men live reacting to the weather. If life is calm, they're calm. If it's chaotic, they collapse. Their inner world is a slave to the outer world. But Nietzsche would say, don't wait for the storm to pass. Become the storm. The world respects presence. The world moves around power. And power is not loud. It's stable. Grounded. Undeniable. To become the storm means this. You bring intensity, not noise. Pressure, not panic. Movement, not emotion. The storm doesn't ask for space. It creates it. You must become like that. Not chaotic, but capable of chaos. Capable of weathering anything because you carry your own center inside you. The man who becomes the storm is not reckless. He's ready because he has trained his will, sharpened his instincts, chosen truth over comfort again and again. He doesn't flinch when things fall apart. He builds as they collapse. He leads when others freeze. People follow the storm, not because it's violent, but because it moves. Ask yourself, are you reacting or setting the tone? Are you waiting to be told what to do or stepping in with weight and direction? Stop checking the sky for signs. Be the force that changes. The atmosphere. Be the wind. Be the thunder. Be the silence before something unstoppable. Become the storm or get swept away by one. Let this sink in. You are not here to be liked. You are here to become, to build, to break patterns, to rise above the noise and the numbness. But from childhood, They taught you to smile, to fit in, to avoid offense, to seek approval like it's oxygen. And now, even your power is filtered through fear. Nietzsche knew. The pursuit of popularity is the death of authenticity. When you crave to be liked, you'll never be respected. You'll bend, shrink, perform, and the world will watch. You become a version of yourself so diluted, even you don't believe in it. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. They will never fully like you. Not when you speak your mind. Not when you hold your standard. Not when you live with unapologetic presence. And that's okay. Because respect is not built on likability. It's built on truth, on presence, on the willingness to walk alone when necessary. The man who chases validation becomes hollow. But the man who speaks from truth, who acts from conviction, becomes magnetic. Not to everyone, but to the right ones. If your mission is to be liked, you'll live a small life, quiet, safe, forgotten. But if your mission is to be real, to rise, to awaken the dormant force inside you, then likability becomes irrelevant. This world doesn't need another smiling mask. It needs your full presence. Stop trying to be liked. Start trying to be true. If you've made it this far, you already know. This isn't about pretending. It's about remembering. Remembering what they tried to bury. The edge, the clarity, the primal weight of a man who knows who he is. Nietzsche didn't want followers. He wanted fire. He wanted men who could stand alone, think radically, burn away weakness and emerge as something new. That's the path you're on. This isn't self-help. It's self-resurrection. You are not here to be passive, polite, obedient. You are not a product, not a cog, not a smiling puppet waiting for permission to live. You are the storm, the sword, the silence that holds weight. So now the question is simple. Will you return to softness or keep walking into the fire? Because there's no going back. Once you've seen your strength, once you've tasted the truth, once you've heard the voice that says enough, the old life dies. That's good. Let it die. Let the fear fade. Let the lies burn. Let the weak version of you be buried in the past, where he belongs. From now on, you speak with fire. You move with weight. You stand without apology. You were born to be dangerous. And now, you remember.